and he's gonna kick ass.
We ready.
When was the last time you saw Paul?
Us?
Yes, you.
Paul, get back here!
Find Paul. Bring him here.
I have a question.
Yes.
How?
I don't know. You're the ones who meant to know him.
So our mission is find one Samoan in the biggest Polynesian city in the world.
Why don't you ask God to tell us where he is, then?
He's God, not Google Maps. Are we sure a bar's a wise place to start our sacred quest?
Where are you?
We're on a mission for the minister.
Are you in a bar?
We're having a strategy meeting plan thing.
How come he didn't want to talk to us?
Us?
I only had like one friend on Facebook.
You suck at Facebook.
You guys are never going to let this go, are you?
No.
The guy who was just in here...
Paul?
Yeah, Bhalo.
His name's Paul.
I thought you said there weren't any Maoris in this place.
They must keep them out the back.
You can't have two sets of boys out.
How about I put you in a tin, throw you in my oven, and bake you as my bitch cake?
Bitch cake.
Hello, Marcel. Personal trainer.
Always up for helping people transform, eh?
Well, maybe we're too old to be boys. Have you thought about that?
Nah, because when you're a boy, you don't think.
Was awesome!
The Bible says I can see clearly now.
They're probably drag queens or something.
And there's no way I'm following a drag queen down a dark alley ever again.
Friends, he used to say.
Believe it or not, bro, that's the sort of thing grown-ups do when they, you know, grow up. She's even got a personal trainer. No. He's gay.
All girls tell their guys their personal trainers are gay.
His name's Marcel.
Okay, that does sound pretty gay.
First time I saw the script, I loved it. It was great. It was a good story. I thought it had all the elements from the first film. And the story that James and Oscar had put together was exciting, fast-paced, and yeah, I was just really excited to be a part of it.
After the first one, there was a lot of talk about maybe doing a sequel, so to get the official call 5 years later was really exciting.
I was quite chuffed because it's not very often you get to do characters twice, have a second bite of apple. And the apple tasted good the first time, so, you know, this time it tastes even better.
I wasn't surprised that the first film would do well, but I was surprised by the degree to which the film just fell into people's hearts.
What time do you call this, Siffer?
Bedtime?
Even years after it came out, I was meeting people who say they used to go home and watch it every night after work to kind of cheer themselves up. And I'm like, whoa, really? After the success of the first one, everyone was really hyped up and we were all excited about, you know, what could we do next? And so James and I had a go at a few different stories.
Initially, we talked about doing a film using the same team of actors, but other, completely different characters, completely different stories. So we mucked around for a couple of years with 2 or 3 ideas for that before we kind of came to the earth-shattering conclusion, why don't we just do a sequel with the same characters?
Whenever they got together, they came up with ideas, and we talked about ideas backwards and forwards. And then eventually I said to them, you know, we've got to do this, guys. And they sat down in September, October 2010. We started shooting in February, March.
Certainly, doing a sequel it's easier in some ways. On the other hand, it's more difficult because we're dealing with an audience that has an expectation. Sione's wedding set a very high standard for entertainment, and we really felt the pressure of having to not just meet that, but to try and exceed that.
In my case, it's been a gift. The world of the film was clearly established in the first Sione's wedding film, and it was simply a matter of harnessing the somewhat chaotic energy at times of this particular bunch of people and sending them off on this particular quest.
Final positions. So our mission is to find one Samoan in Auckland, the biggest Polynesian city in the world.
Why don't you ask God to tell us where he is, then?
He's God, not Google Maps.
I wouldn't say any of our cast ran riot during the making of Siones 2. They were all pretty disciplined and focused. However, this kind of comedy requires the actors to be able to play, spark off each other, improvise, and the apparent mayhem that you see on screen is reflected a little bit in the way that they are when they're rehearsing or when they're standing by waiting to rehearse, because if they weren't able to translate their playfulness from pre-shooting into the scene, then often it might take them a while to warm up into that after action is called. So as far as I'm concerned, that kind of play is an essential part of the process of capturing their energy and their performance.
Did that not cover it?
Sorry, Us. Being closer to God hasn't made Stan any less stupid.
They've all done a lot of acting between the first and second film, so in terms of craft, they're actually much better actors. They know what they're doing now. They're more confident about performing for camera.
Having done it once and having the chance to do it again, it was like, OK, we have to make the most of it. It is fun, but also we know what work we need to do. So it was, I'd say it was kind of more fun because we knew the fun we were having and we knew also the kind of work that we needed to be doing.
It was challenging. Challenging in that everyone has come so far since that first film, you know, doing all lots of other work and all that sort of stuff. So everybody, you know, brought their A game to the thing, and that what the challenge was, you know, just to stay on par with all the boys and stuff.
What is strange in terms of the difference between the first film and the second is that a lot of the actors seem to spend a lot of time in the gym in those 6 years, and their physiques have changed enormously. Quite intimidating, really.
Guess who, girl, back again? The dynamic duo, me and the pen, and my friend Nicholas. They call him 41, at a 40 of rum and shorty, I'm done, cause a whole lot of mischief up in the bar. Then we'll blame it on the alcohol. Baby, I'm running out to spit till the cows come home.
What was different for me on this film was that the Samoan world is a world that I'm not familiar with, so I had to ask for help and advice if I had questions. I'm more than happy to be pulled up because for me it's most important that we get things right.
One of the things I really loved about Simon's approach is that he wasn't scared to say he didn't know. The first day on the basketball court, he's like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys show me what would happen here. And so we did. It wasn't even an issue. And, you know, he's not that extreme. He still lives in Greyland. He probably has never woken up in a sleep out and not known where he was and had to run to the car to grab his church clothes from the back and get changed into it before the morning service. But he brought what he brought and only added to it. He didn't change it. He didn't make it a different movie. He added to the kind of Sione-ness of it.
I didn't even touch you, Dick! All over me! Little Dick! It's non-contact sport! What would Jesus do? The power of faith!
And so this film, we picked them up 5 years later, and things haven't quite gone, you know, on the trajectory path that they probably dreamed for themselves.
Okay. Like, go.
You wine, sir?
Beer gives me gas these days.
Go crazy, Stan.
My body is a temple.
Temple of what? You can't drink, you can't root. What's the upside to this church of yours, mate?
As the Bible says, I can see clearly now.
No, it doesn't.
The film is about, I mean, the same bunch of guys who have found new ways not to grow up.
And I don't appreciate being taken to task for growing up.
And we haven't.
Leilani thrown any clocks at you when you've come home drunk lately, see?
They're living in denial, a lot of them, of to what they truly should be.
You're three fools in here.
As a result of that, they've made some fairly phenomenal mistakes in their lives.
It's a quest movie, so all our characters have a goal that they have to achieve, and then it turns out that the goal is not what they thought it was, and then it becomes something else, and that's sort of the nature of the plot. But at its very heart, it's about belonging and growing up.
Albert has faced up to his new reality and overthought it. As a result of that, he's kind of burnt a few bridges.
No. It's just he loses self-consciousness. His frustration just overtakes him. Exactly.
He's got the promotion to middle management. He gets to wear a tie to work. You know, he's got a girlfriend. They live together. They're married. But despite all that, he's unfulfilled, but he doesn't know why, and it's making him very grumpy and frustrated and angry.
I'm loath to point out the obvious, Sifa, but I am the only one with middle management experience.
Too bad Towns isn't here because she's better at management than you.
No, she's not.
Then how come she got headhunted for a high-paying job and you didn't?
Tanya has, for once and for all, answered the question of who wears the pants in that family.
Tanya has come a long way since the first film. She's now got a really high-powered job at the company that she works at. And she's married to Albert and living on the shore, and they're kind of a little bit... It's not all happy days in their household.
They've moved into a world that's different to the Greyland world of the Duck Rockers, and if you live in Auckland, you'll understand that there is a vast gulf between the North Shore and Central Auckland in many ways, not just a bridge.
It's a long way from the North Shore to Greyland, OK?
No, it's not. There's a bridge, Albert. You can drive over it in your middle management car.
Stanley still hasn't found a reality that he wants to live in, and as a result, he's probably gone to the worst reality possible for him.
Well, Stanley has discovered God, so he's in this church, future church, and Cardinal Huani, the leader of this church, is his idol. So he's obsessed with him. Cardinal Huani! Hey, Stanley!
Yeah? OK, that's just wrong.
Thanks for coming, Your Reverence.
I do what I can to help.
Stanley is completely committed to this church. It gives him a sense of meaning and purpose. He wears a large wooden cross on a leather thong around his neck, and he's constantly misquoting pieces from the Bible.
Like it says in the Bible, Josefa, I once was lost, but now I found what I'm looking for.
I'm pretty sure that's not in the Bible, Stanley.
To me, Stanley's kind of the onto it one of the boys. He actually sees all the stuff that no one else sees. He gets what's happening, even though they don't kind of take him seriously in terms of the stuff that comes out of his mouth.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. My name's Stanley. I live in the clock.
His eyes are open somewhat over the course of the film.
Michael ran away from reality, and now he's got to come back and face up to a new reality that he's created all of his own so he can take his shirt off.
You know, at the end of the first film, his big realisation was that he was quite cool with how he's a hoe. And he was at peace with his hoe-ness.
Michael, when did you get back? You said you're cool.
He just got back today.
And then could use some space right now?
Well, I don't think he's developed at all. In terms of development, I reckon he's just gotten bigger trouble, more serious trouble this time.
A shock in Sifa's life has finally forced him to confront who and what he is, and he is desperately trying to change his ways and failing.
You think you know me, don't you? Because I have done since we were little. But you don't!
Sifa has changed since the first movie. I think he's finally, although late as, reached the stage where he wants to settle down. And he's a bit late because they've already got 2 kids and stuff, and he's already proposed to Leilani, and it's been 5 years since the proposal and all that sort of business. But I think he's just coming around to now that he's finally sort of, come on, buddy, get your shit together sort of business.
She's really different. Smiles all the time, got all this energy, does all this stuff. Job, kids, gym. She's even got a personal trainer. What? What's that mean?
Leilani has very much taken things by the scruff of the neck in that Leilani way, and she's sorted herself out, and this worries Sifa a lot.
Hey, some of us are meeting up at our usual, if you need a break. I'll even let you drink today.
Things are pretty full on here, so probably won't be able to, but thank you.
All good. You know where we are.
She's really come into her own, and I felt really good about that. Yeah, she wasn't taking so much of Sifa's crap anymore.
Bhalo is still the enigmatic figure of the moral centre of this universe.
Are you mocking my face? No, I'm mocking your basketball. Do this. You. No, give the ball back. Whatever.
My name is Paul. He's at a place of sort of zen for him. He was always a bit slightly extravagant and worldly, and now he's gone into almost Buddha, Polynesian Buddha type things, and he's very calm and very worldly.
Bhalo is an enigma and always will be an enigma. We don't know what he gets up to in his private life. He's a very strange person. He reads a lot, we know that. We see him reading Wuthering Heights in the film, and he wears a poncho for some reason. Perhaps he likes Mexico.
Derek's Derek. We had to have Derek in the film.
We need to go back now.
I know these dicks. Hey, aren't those the dogs you work with?
Our dog!
And in terms of Derek's journey, I think he's realised that it's okay to like hip-hop and use your own words. But, you know, he can't help it. He did grow up with Islanders and G-Field, so he uses those words like sole and uso.
Everyone, calm down.
How about I put you in a tin, throw you in my oven, and bake you as my bitch cake?
Oh!
Is that what you want?
Bitch cake?
Yeah, you heard.
But I don't understand what you meant.
They drive around the city in their hotted-up Subaru, making a lot of noise, being dicks.
Hey, baby, wanna sit on my Bhalo?
One of the things that really grabbed me when I first read the script for Siones 2 was how place-specific it is. The whole film takes place within probably a 3-kilometre radius of Grey Lynn. We spent 4 or 5 weeks before we started shooting finding our locations. A lot of them were quite specific in the script, like Grey Lynn Park, basketball court. But we had to find a burger bar for Cherburger, and Murder Burger on Ponsonby Road was the perfect place for that. The places that we filmed in, and this doesn't often happen in films, had to actually have a plausible link to the previous location that the characters had been in, so that if they'd run out of a shop and sprinted down the road, the scene where they finished sprinting had to, for me anyway, be plausibly a few hundred metres from where the shop was.
This is a film that's got an interesting soundtrack because Sione's Wedding was very urban, very hip-hop, and we used a lot of Dawn Raid's music in that, and we will again, but the boys have moved on a little bit, and so we brought in Don McGlashan to compose several key pieces for the film.
There's a lot more composed music than in the original Siones film because it's a more dramatic story, it's a more detailed story. I suggested that we tried to arrange the This Is Love song so it just builds up. This is love. This is and a choir adds itself to it. This is love. And then the choir sort of seamlessly stops singing the words "This is love" and goes into Samoan, and then the band drops away and the choir are left singing what sounds like a traditional Samoan hymn. Luckily, "This Is Love" translates into Samoan in a really beautiful set of words, "O lea lofa lea."
The biggest challenge, I think, is going to be for the cinema owners. Some of them are going to have to get bigger seats because with Islanders, bigger bums, you know, they can't quite fit in the allocated space.
And what I like about the plot of this film is that it takes place over a relatively short space of time. And if you get hooked in at the beginning on the boys' journey, hopefully you've enjoyed the ride, and you walk out with a smile on your face and maybe just a little tear in the eye. That'd be good. That'd be ideal.